I just got done canning and I wanted to share another fact with you. That's right, a canning frequently asked question, and it has to do with salt. Can you use iodized salt in a canning recipe? So today we're discussing salt. You know, there's a lot of different salts. There's your canning and pickling salt. There's sea salt, and this is Celtic gray sea salt. And of course, you've all seen the Himalayan pink salt. There's kosher salt, which I put here in this container. And there's what I use the most, which is iodized salt. Which of all these salts can you use when you're canning? You know, sometimes things are repeated so often they become fact. And I see that in our canning community. And I'm going to explain in just a minute. But if you're canning pickles, then there really is only one type of salt you want to be using if you care about how your pickles look. And that is canning and pickling salt. Because this has no added ingredients, no non-caking ingredients, so it is perfect when you want to make pickles, because you don't want that brine to turn a funny color or be cloudy. This is the type of salt you have to use. But because of that, most people assume this is the only salt you should use, period, when canning. Well, with one exception, kosher salt. That's recommended quite often. But did you know that really depends on the brand of kosher salt you buy? If you buy the Morton variety of kosher salt, it does have a caking ingredient. It has yellow prussiate of soda, an anti-caking agent. But if you buy the Diamond Crystal brand, it doesn't have that. So if you're a purist and want to can with no added ingredients in your salt, you would want to use canning or pickling salt or Diamond Crystal kosher salt, because certain salts have certain additives. For instance, our iodized salt here, Morton iodized salt, by its name, right, has iodine. And it has dextrose and calcium silicate, which is an anti-caking agent. Now you might say, well, why iodine? But in the 1920s, it was found like a lot of people were actually developing goiters, hypothyroidism, and did not have enough iodine in their diet, so the government added it to regular salt, table salt. Now, a lot of people go, oh, I don't want that in my diet. Well, iodine is a necessary element for your body. And about 30 years ago, I was in for my routine exam with the doctor, and he was going, He said, almost feels like an Adam apple. What? Then he realized I had the start of a goiter. Yes, I have had hypothyroidism, and I needed to get on thyroid medication. So I have always used Morton's table salt with iodine, because definitely it's something my body needs. It's not necessarily something that is bad for you. Sometimes I read a recipe too quickly and I just saw salt, and so I put in Morton iodized table salt, which is what I usually use. And everybody said, no, don't use it, because for some reason, because it has the iodine in it and the non-caking ingredients, it is considered bad for canning. But you know what type of canning it's considered bad for? That's right, when you're doing pickling, something with a brine. It really doesn't matter what salt you use when you're doing regular canning recipes. And you know what? When I use this iodized salt, my recipe turned out just fine. My jars were beautiful color, no cloudiness. It was fine. But then I'm thinking, oh, I made a mistake. Gotta follow canning safety rules. Should have I done that? So then I did some more research. And this is what I found. It's Ask Extension. It's where cooperative extension offices can ask questions. And they have a national database. And it says canning salt. It is perfectly safe to use iodized salt when canning. The reason people use pickling salt is because it makes for clear brine when canning pickles. But for all other canned foods, iodized salt is just fine. Read that again. Iodized salt is just fine. You can use it. Okay, so I'm clearing up a lot of the misconceptions. And you might say, well, what about sea salt or Celtic salt? You can use that, but often they might have other minerals with the salt, which is one of the benefits, I suppose, of getting like the pink Himalayan salt. I mean, something made it pink, right? So you may want to steer away from sea salt, like Himalayan salt, gray Celtic salt, things like that when you're canning. But you could always try it. Doesn't make a difference. Anyway, I hope I have cleared up this misconception because I hear it so often. And people will catch me when I'm doing a video and making a recipe and they notice I'm just using table salt. And they go, you're not supposed to do that. Well, guess what? You can. I hope you enjoyed this fact, this frequently asked question about canning. And I hope you practice safe canning methods. As always, please subscribe and share the knowledge. Thank you.